Gwen is going to try to call in.
Okay. Thank you, Maureen. All right. It is 5:04 p.m. on July 16th, 2021. I'm going to call to order this special joint meeting of the Easton, Reading, and Region 9 Boards of Education, and also call to order the Reading Board of Education at this time. Members present for the board: myself, Chris Parkin, Heather Whaley, Colleen Pilato, Mike Hoffman, John Riley, Chris Hocker. And I'll ask John and Todd to please call their boards to order.
Thank you. We'll do the same for the Easton Board of Education. Members present: myself, Jeff Parker, Randy Hicks, and Devin Weibel.
And call the Region 9 Board of Education to order at 5:04 as well. And I've got Karen, Cheryl, Maureen, and myself, noting we're lacking quorum.
Gwen signed on.
Gwen is now
signed
on.
Okay, so and Gwen. So we do have quorum now.
I'm here.
Great. Thank you, Gwen.
All right, so all three boards have quorum. All three boards have been called to order. Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 2 of the agenda, which is the mutual termination of the contract of the superintendent. And at this time, based on conversations between the board chairs and the superintendent, as well as the superintendent personnel steering search committee, there's been an agreement to mutually terminate the contract of Dr. Harrison effective July 19th of 2021. And at this time, I would look for a motion to effectuate that termination of the contract, which would be on mutual consent pursuant to Section 10A of his contract. Can I have a motion from any of the boards? Thank you. That is Mike Hoffman for Reading. Is there a second in Reading?
I'll second.
That's John Riley. Thank you. Similar motion in Easton, please.
We have the motion in Easton. Thank you, Devin. And do I have a second in Easton? Randy. Thank you. I think Randy got it, Jeff. I think so.
And the same motion in Region 9.
So moved, Karen.
Karen, and a second.
Second, Maureen.
Maureen, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion from any of the three boards? Hearing none, I'm happy to call the question, starting in Reading where the motion originated. Heather?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris Hocker?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries 6-0. Looking to Easton.
Thank you, Chris. Devin?
Yes.
Thank you, Randy.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. I vote yes. The motion carries 4-0.
And for Region 9, calling the question, Karen,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0.
Todd.
And for the record, Mary Lee.
Oh, Mary Lee joined as well.
at
Sorry,
5:07.
didn't see her on my little windows there. Mary Lee.
She may not be able to mute, or no, she should be able to.
Can't hear you, Mary Lee.
I just was able to get on. I tried calling in and it told me that I was the only one on the meeting and I was like, that's not right.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
We're voting on a motion for the end of Dr. Harrison's or his termination of his employment on the 19th of July.
Okay, so yes.
Yes or no. Okay,
Yes.
yes, thank you. All right, so
Yes.
now it carries in Region 9 6-0. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Todd.
you.
Thank you, John. And I think I speak on behalf of all my colleagues in thanking Dr. Harrison for his service and everything that he's done for our district and for our students. Which brings us to item 3, the appointment of an interim superintendent. And again, at the recommendation and approval of the Personnel Search Steering Committee, we're bringing forward the recommendation to the three boards for the appointment of Dr. Thomas McMorran to be the interim superintendent of schools effective on July 20 of 2021, and would look for a motion to so appoint Dr. McMorran, the interim superintendent, effective Tuesday, July 20.
Move Reading.
See Mike for Reading, second for Reading.
I'll second.
Heather, thank you. It looked like Jeff was trying to get a motion in.
Yes.
Is
Thank
there
you,
a
Jeff.
second in Easton?
Second in Easton.
Second.
Thank you, Randy.
For Region 9, same motion.
So moved, Karen.
Karen, and a second.
If you're looking
Yeah.
for a second, I'll be
Second,
it.
Maureen, thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion for any of the three boards on the motion to appoint Dr. McMorran, the interim superintendent? Hearing no
Oh,
such.
I think Chris
discussion, we
Hawker is
can-
trying to get your
Yeah.
attention.
Oh, I am sorry. Chris, go ahead.
That's all right. I was trying to be polite. Just for clarity, was there any, you don't have to go into detail, but was there any extensive discussion or debate or back and forth regarding this particular point at the steering committee? Or was it pretty much the consensus feeling?
It was, I think it's fair to say it was the consensus of the group to move forward with Dr. McMorran.
All right.
If I may add a comment to that, Chris. This is Cheryl. I can't see everybody either, but I will. But to Chris Hawker's point, yeah, it's I think I do want to make a comment just in support of that we thought this would provide the needed stability for our schools in the interim as we take a deliberate approach and a thoughtful approach to get the feedback from our communities and our schools and our students on who the permanent successor would be. And I will add just my personal gratitude to Dr. Harrison as well.
Thank you.
Chris, one comment.
Go ahead, Mike.
Also from the steering committee meeting, it was felt that Dr. McMorran would be a nice stabilizing force here at the beginning of a school year where we have a lot of new folks, a lot of new leadership, at the schools and in central office. And I would also, extend my gratitude to Dr. McMorran to, agreeing to come in and kind of cover our back while we look forward for the new superintendent.
Yeah, it's certainly appreciated that Dr. McMorran is willing to do this at this time. He's uniquely qualified to slot right in. If there's no further discussion, we can call the question again, starting in Reading. Heather?
Chris, I actually have one other question / comment that I'd like to ask. So just for purposes of clarity for the public, it's my understanding that the entire transition is based on amicable discussion by all parties. So I just really I think I'm kind of stating it, but asking at the same time, having not been part of all those discussions myself. So.
Yes, I think it's absolutely fair to say that it is a mutual transition timeline as between Dr. Harrison, the boards, and Dr. McMorran, with the best interest of the district and the students in mind to transition at this time.
Thank you.
Calling the question, Heather?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Chris Hawker?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries 6-0.
We'll do the same in Easton. Devin?
Yes.
Thank you, Randy.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
I vote yes. The motion carries 4-0.
Where did Todd go? There he is.
He's there.
Yep, I'm back. Sorry about that. Got disconnected. For Region 9, same motion. Karen,
Yes, sorry.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mary Lee,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. So motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, John. That brings us to item 4, contract for the interim superintendent. Board members received a draft version of the contract earlier today. And at this time, we would look for also admitting Mike D'Agostino at 5:14 p.m. for the minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the contract of employment for Dr. McMorrin as interim superintendent for a period beginning July 20, 2021, and authorize the chair to execute the contract and any other documents necessary to effect his appointment.
So move for Reading.
I'll second.
Do
So
the
moved,
same-
Easton.
Thank you, Jeff. And seconded Easton.
Second.
Sounded
Thank you,
like
Devin.
Mike and Heather. My connection's dropping a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, Mike and then Heather and Jeff and then Devin.
And Region 9, same motion.
So moved.
That was
That's Mary
Lee.
Lee. Yeah, thanks.
And
Second,
Second.
Karen.
Karen, thank you.
My connection is dropping. I'm going to ask if there's any discussion on the motion and ask John and Todd to help me identify folks who'd like to speak.
Certainly. We'll start with Reading. Anyone in Reading? No? Okay. Easton? And Region 9? I'm not seeing anybody.
All right. Thank you. And then we can call the question again, starting with Reading. Heather,
Yes.
Colleen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Chris Hawker.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries 6-0 in Reading.
In Easton, Devin?
Yes.
Thank you, Randy.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
I vote yes. The motion carries 4-0.
And Region 9, same motion. Karen,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
yes. Mary Lee,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes, carries 7-0.
Thank you, Todd. That brings us to item number 5 on the agenda, which is public comment. Members of the public wishing to be heard, please use the reactions button in Zoom to indicate that you are raising your hand. We'll expect that all comments be limited to 2 minutes and remind members of the public that comments should be limited to issues relating to the educational program in Easton and Reading and should not relate to comments with respect to any particular personnel below the rank of superintendent. Starting with Debbie Barrer, please.
Hi, everyone.
And I'm sorry, and everyone needs to please state their
I'm sorry,
name and address.
Easton 8 Hayes Street. I just have 3 thank yous. One is thank you to Dr. Harrison for your leadership and your inspiration and all the energy that you brought to Region 9. And even though I don't have kids in the school, I really appreciate all you've done. A thank you to Dr. McMorrin for stepping back in. You were the head of school and the principal when my kids were in school and did a tremendous amount for their growth and their education, their growth as people and their education. So I'm happy to see your face again, even though I don't quite see it. And a quick thank you and congratulations to Sarah Lieberger, who is a new member of the Easton Board of Ed. I just want everyone to know I've known her for a while. She is one of the smartest, most passionate, fairest people I know. And she will work hard and bring all of her positive energy to the school board for the benefit of all of our students. So thank you for giving your time, Sarah, and congratulations again. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Debbie. Next, I see Drew Luca.
Good evening, or good afternoon, I guess. Drew Luca, we live in 87 Fire Hill Road in Reading. So I guess I have to say thank you to Dr. Moran for being willing to come back to this. The comments that we would have is we'd urge the board to consider a candidate here to replace the current superintendent that will unite the whole community and consider all of the views that are out there without advancing what appears to be a personal agenda or political views. I'd also urge the board to adopt a better professional conduct standard than we've seen of late, as is common in the corporate world. related to public statements on social media, et cetera, and that there be clear outcomes and ramifications for the inappropriate use of that. It's fairly disappointing that our town has been used as a platform for these comments and these agendas, especially over the last several weeks. The focus should be on our children and our students and not whatever personal strife we have within the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Next, I see Lou DiPietro.
Yes, thank you. Lou DiPietro, 48 Jesse Lee Drive in Easton. I just wanted to thank you, board members, for taking this action as swiftly as you did to make this change. I also wanted to echo Drew's statement. We have a similar situation here in Easton. Some residents are anywhere from upset to furious about Dr. Bindleglass making some comments about groups in town via social media or through newspaper articles that many feel may be unbecoming of an elected official attempting to represent an entire town population. So just wanted to kind of echo and reiterate, hopefully, as we go forward with this process and as you guys go forward with this process, to just have thoughts, theories, maybe a possible plan of action or change to the rules in place to kind of try to nip that in the bud. And a thank you to Dr. McMorrin for stepping back in as the previous superintendent. Obviously, hopefully he can pick right up where he left off. So that'll be good for our children, mine of which will be entering the school system year after next. And I was only just curious if it was more than just a function of timing, today being Friday and that being Monday, as to why this change of leadership wasn't effective immediately. If there was any legal reasons or more than just the calendar. Thank you.
Lou, can I, before you mute, Lou, can you just repeat your name one more time and your address?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Lou DiPietro, Easton, 48 Jesse Lee Drive.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't catch it the first time.
Nope, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. Next, I see June Logie.
Yes, I'd like to wish Dr. Harrison well, and I would also like to thank the board for quickly putting this all together. And I do think I would welcome Dr. McMorrin as well, and I'm happy to see that he would return back. I think it's a very good solution to the situation that we're in. And I would like to also echo the same sentiments when we're looking for a superintendent, that one that echoes the entire population versus political agendas that seem to be part of the process. And I do want to thank all of the boards of education for quickly remedying this issue. Thank you. And it's 140 Rock House Road, Easton.
Thank you. Next, I see RJ Bolito.
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Maureen Hanley, 21 Andrews Road. I would just say that, of course, I wish anybody well, but during COVID, I had my share of Dr. Harrison not returning communications regarding my daughter, who is in supported special education, and also in regards to specific challenges that not only she faced during COVID and remote learning, but the mask mandates that a child with severe asthma made very complicated. So like I said, I wish anyone well. I do offer my thanks to Dr. McMorrin for returning to his position. One of the first things I experienced in coming in this town was actually reading his resignation letter, which really, as a people manager for 25 years, really kind of got to me. So the fact that he's returning in the face of those words that he shared with so many, I would like to see our entire community provide our support to him and our welcome back. I don't know what the background story is. Like, I have not lived here that long, but I am grateful that he's returned to the school system that he left in incredible shape, with really great scores and very good ratings, which is one of the reasons I moved here with my family. So I look forward to welcoming him back and giving him all the support I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I see Dana Benson. You're muted, Dana.
Sorry, Dana Benson, 34 Pond Road, Easton. Dana Benson, 34 Pond Road, Easton. I want to thank the board for moving quickly. I want to thank Dr. Harrison for his service. I wanted to point out to the public that there is an announcement that Dr. Erdadi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but those of you who want to participate and give your feedback to our search consultant regarding the search process for the new superintendent, this is being managed, I believe, by Dr. E.R.A.R.D.I. That's E.R.A.R.D.I. And he's going to be conducting seminars for the public on Monday, July 26th. That's Monday, July 26th. I think there's a 10 a.m., a midday, and an afternoon session. And the way to express your interest in participating is to email Dr. E.R.A.R.D.I. at ERARDIJ@gmail. That's ERARDIJ@gmail. Thank you very much.
Any additional members of the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, we'll move on to board member comment. Board member comment, let's start in Reading.
Hello. Hi, I did have my hands
Hi.
up, Chris.
I'm
Beatrix
sorry,
Erickson.
I didn't see a hand up. Go ahead.
Hi. The one thing I wanted to say, Beatrix Erickson, 27 Side Cut in Reading. The one thing I wanted to say, and this had been a conversation on Facebook, and I don't remember who posted it. I would encourage the board to consider, as you're moving, I know we're looking to move to in-person meetings, a return to in-person meetings. I would encourage you to consider having those be both via Zoom as well as in person, so those who are not able to be there physically get a chance to participate. A lot of people said they've actually participated more in Board of Ed meetings since they were taking place via Zoom, because they were able to sort of multitask and doing it rather than they've ever done before. I think more than ever, you need to hear from as many people as possible as you move forward. So please give thought. I know that the search committee, it seems to only be in person. I'm away. And I know not everyone's probably able to make those in-person meetings. And the more feedback you can get, I think the better it is in terms of outcomes, not just for the purpose of replacing Dr. Harrison, but for all Board of Ed related meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrix. I see Agnes.
I just want to echo, Agnes,
you need to give your
99 Blackrock Turnpike, Easton. I just want to echo Beatrix's comment. I think that a hybrid method is the most inclusive and accessible way. A lot of parents have kids and they don't want to find sitters. A lot of people struggle with mobility or mental health. And I think that a hybrid method will be the most accessible for all of our community members. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, seeing no further members of the public wishing to be heard. Dana, quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. I'm sorry. Dr. Arardi is going to have, I think, a seminar at 10 and 3 and 7, if I read it correctly. But the point is, email him if you want to be involved in this process. ERARDIJ@gmail.com. Thank you.
Back around to board member comment, starting again in Reading. Anybody in Reading wish to be heard?
I have one.
Heather, go ahead.
It's actually 10, 4, and 7, the community conversations. And I do, Beatrix, that's a great point. Maybe Joe, Dr. Arardi can also have a community conversation session that is over Zoom. We can certainly suggest that to him.
Any other board member comment out of Reading this evening?
Just really quickly, people who want hybrid meetings, you know, I'm only a single board member, but I really do want to hear from everyone. And it's just hosting a hybrid meeting. We tried one. It is very difficult. And I just don't want to leave the impression that if we don't do it, it's because we don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from everyone. And I just want to clarify that having a meeting in a room with some public commenters commenting from home on technology is very challenging. And it's just not an indication that we don't want to hear from you. It's just, you know, difficult to manage all of that.
Thank you, Colleen. Anyone else in Reading? I would make 2 points on my own behalf. The first is in light of sort of the ongoing high temperature in our communities, both with respect to social media, with respect to mailers, with respect to the tone of community conversation. I want to hold up and thank the 21 members of these 3 boards who have engaged in nothing less than civil and constructive conversation between and amongst each other over the course of a very difficult year and a half. We do not agree with each other. We find consensus wherever we can. I think I have disagreed with every one of my 20 colleagues at some point over the time, but I still appreciate the professionalism that they've brought to these meetings and continue to bring to those meetings as a model for how the community can be working together and collaborating in otherwise really difficult times. So thank you to my colleagues for that. And we have a lot of work to do this summer with respect to senior leadership, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate in that way. Secondly, I would like to take a moment to personally thank Dr. Harrison for the work that he did for our schools and our districts over the past 10 months. I think of the board members, I might be highest on the list for the amount of time I've spent talking to him late at night, early in the morning, whenever, as we work through the various issues, as he earned his honorary degree in contact tracing and did all of the other work that it took. My greatest regret in his early departure is that so few members of the community had the opportunity to spend time with him. This was an extraordinary year, and he is an extraordinary person who, when you spend time with him, you recognize and realize very quickly. And it is a great regret of mine that we are losing him. I wish him nothing but success moving forward and thank him for the service that he had for our community. Easton?
Any comment from Randy, Jeff, or Devin? Devin.
So I just want to first thank Chris Parkin for such really thoughtful and impactful words. Number 2, I also want to extend my deep gratitude to Dr. Harrison for his leadership in, I think, what truly is an unprecedented year in education. With the pandemic, I have, 2 children in the schools, and I will say they didn't miss a beat. And I'm so grateful for his leadership in making sure that our kids were back in school, in person, full time, which many of our neighbors were not able to accomplish, and many of our other states around the country were not able to accomplish. And just also for, leading through really challenging times. And I wish him also well, and really thankful for the impact that he had on the community and just on, the educational system in our town. And then third, just to speak to, I think, this perception of division, I see it quite differently. I've lived here for 5 years. I am so thankful every day that I wake up to this beautiful house and this beautiful yard and these great schools and great people. And I hope that we can, do similar to what Chris just said, which is find common ground with people that we sometimes disagree with, but that we're all in this for the interest of our community and the interest of our kids. And I would just encourage us to turn down the rhetoric, like think about the words that we choose because they matter. And also encourage folks to think about whether it's, if you're on Facebook and you have a question or you're concerned or, reach out. I had coffee with a person this morning that we don't always agree with, but we sat and we talked through it. And I will tell you, it is really impactful. We live in a small town and it matters. And so I hope that we can continue to find common ground, that we can move together. And at the end of the day, we recognize we're all neighbors and that our kids are the most important and precious resource that we have in our lives and in our town, and that we're all working, 21 of us together, to make sure that they are successful. And I know that we can provide a great example by doing that ourselves.
Thank you, Devin. Randy or Jeff? Nope. I'll briefly say, definitely want to say thank you to Dr. Harrison for all he did over the course of this last year. I think when you see, thinking about a true athlete, when you see a real athlete run, or somebody who's doing, the thing that they do best, do that thing, it's remarkable. And I had the pleasure of, in that really first day that Dr. Harrison was on the job, going around with Chris and some very, very generous volunteers from our community to tape videos at each one of the schools and have him walk the students through with the building leaders exactly what their experience was going to be like in this sort of scary, sort of COVID land. And it was magical. He didn't take very long at all to jump right in and connect with those building leaders and to connect through those videos with the students. And it was seeing somebody who was really a great educational leader do his thing. And I think it is a shame that just, the circumstances we found ourselves in this year due to COVID and all the sort of pressures that we saw there, he had to spend so much of his time learning to be a contact tracer and dealing with all of the administrivia that's there, instead of really getting a chance to spend time with teachers as much as he could and should have. And that stinks. And we lost out. And that's a shame. Briefly for Tom, thank you. Thank you very much for coming in. I think Chris used the word unique, uniquely positioned to come in and hit the ground running. That word literally means one of a kind, and this is the case here. There is no one else on the planet who could come in, who knows every one of those buildings, who knows what's going on and is going to hit the ground running. And given all of the pressures that we're facing, there's only one person who it could be, and it's Tom. And we are just unbelievably fortunate that he's coming in to do that work. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, John. I was about to ask Region 9, and I was going to make a comment that neither Dr. Harrison or Dr. McMorrin are with us tonight because they were at an administrative retreat, and then I see Dr. McMorrin is joining the call at the moment.
Nice.
We can move on to Region 9.
I do want to say thank you to my fellow chairs, just Chris and Todd. A tremendous amount of work went into making sure that this could happen and happen on the timeline that we were working on. And, just consistently impressed by the commitment you both have and making sure this kind of stuff can happen. So thank you.
Region 9, do we lose Todd again?
I see his name on there, but I'm not sure.
Why don't we just look for hands raised from Region 9? I see Mike D'Agostino.
Thank you, Chris. So I just want to echo, and I appreciate the effort, the comments and from Chris and from Devin. And I just want to kind of try to pull them together in that, yes, I think we all agree that board members have, worked incredibly hard, especially the chairs this year. It's been a challenging year. And I've lived in this community for 32 years, and we've always pulled together to do what's best for our children, for our students, and for our communities. And I'm very hopeful that we can find a way to get past the divisive rhetoric and come together and become one once again. I do feel it's important to thank Dr. Harrison for all he's done. He came into an extremely challenging situation. Obviously, I do disagree that I think the boards of education in our schools are still really great schools. I really disagree when we say, we have great schools. You should take really a lot of pride in the fact that we have great schools. And we need to expand our thanks to the entire school community, to the teachers and the staff who came in during the pandemic and put themselves at risk to further educate our students. And that's something we should all take pride in. So I hope that we're all going to work together and kind of find a way to move past this division. But I do feel like, be proud of your schools. They really are great. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And I think, Todd, are you back able to speak?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
able
thanks.
to unmute. So anyone else, board members from Region 9, comment?
See Cheryl and Maureen both.
Cheryl and Maureen.
Yep. Sorry, I can't see them all. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I will just say, Chris, Mike, Colleen, John, Devin, or whoever I missed on any of the boards who commented, ditto. I agree with you. Well spoken. I want to say with respect to the superintendent search, if I could appeal to the public, the facts of the superintendent search are on www.er9.org. Please continually check that website. There is information, listserv, etc. Parents are going to receive the same information directly. Please cite those sources as the official sources with regard to the superintendent search. And those comments, if you are not able to attend whatever forums that we're going to provide for you, there is also the option to email all of the board members. The comments for the board member contacts are also on the website. Again, please cite the website as the official communications with respect to the search. And my personal thanks to many people, all of everyone listed. I want to acknowledge the chairs that you have done a phenomenal job of getting this done fast, timely, providing information to the board, giving us information so that we can help you all inform the public. So really thank you, Chris, John, Todd, for what I would define as above and beyond the call of volunteer duty. So thank you from me. Thank you, staff, et cetera, board members. I think we work well together, and despite the rhetoric from a few minority people, a minority of the population. And I do believe that there is more unity in both of our communities more than anything else. And I look forward to working with the communities as we embark on the permanent superintendent search. And Dr. Harrison, thank you. It's been, and Dr. McMorrin, thank you for taking an interim role. But thank you, Dr. Harrison, for all you have done in such a short time. And we look forward to following your career, and perhaps we'll cross paths again in the future. It's been phenomenal working with you.
All right. Thank you. Maureen?
What Cheryl said, I echo, and I just wanted to clarify the times for the information session. The times are 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. at Barlow. They are not any other variation that you might have heard during this meeting. Joe Arardi will take comments from anyone who wishes to submit them in writing, and if we get enough of them, we can make sure that they're disseminated amongst the board members as well. That's it.
All right, anyone else for Region 9? All right, I'll just echo and keep it short. Thank you, Dr. Harrison, for your 9 months of service, and appreciate everything you did while you were here. And Dr. McMorrin, thank you for stepping in and helping us through the interim process as we look to find a replacement and a permanent superintendent for the next several years. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. And just to clarify for the public, the Personnel Search Steering Committee is a committee of 9 members of the 3 boards, plus the 3 chairs sitting ex officio. That committee is chaired by Maureen Williams and Cheryl Graziano, and we are being assisted in the search by Dr. Joe Arardi, who also assisted in the search last summer. And there are opportunities for public feedback and input as to what we should be looking for over the course of that search. So with that, we'll look for a motion to adjourn this special meeting.
I'll move that in Reading. John.
I heard John and I see Mike Hoffman seconding in Reading. We'll look for the same motion in Easton.
Moved. Thank you, Randy. And Jeff is seconding.
Region 9.
And Region 9.
So moved, Karen.
Karen, it looks like Mike for the second.
Is there any objection from any board to adjournment? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 5:44